Now at 11, to play or not to play? It's the big question facing high school athletic directors across Northeast Ohio.
We keep on saying we're hoping we're going to have a season. We're hoping everything's going to be normal.
We have details on what could be next for fall sports. Also, young face of the virus.
I don't care how long it takes. I just want him to tell me that he's going to be out of this.
A teenager in the hospital fighting for his life. We have the message from his parents about coronavirus. First of its kind. Tonight, our Monica Robbins shares the lasting legacy of Connie Culp, the first face transplant recipient in the country. And marching on. We share how one high school band is keeping in step while staying safe during the pandemic.
From the WKYC studios, this is What's Next.
It is coming up at 11:02 on a Friday night, but for bars in the state of Ohio, last call was more than an hour ago. The governor's order shutting down sales now in effect. No booze can be served in any Ohio bars or restaurants after 10 p.m., part of the effort to slow the spread of the coronavirus. And good evening, I'm Russ Mitchell.
And I'm Laura K. Sarah is home on maternity leave tonight. We start, though, with the latest coronavirus numbers right here in Ohio. The state of Ohio confirming 1,533 new cases of the coronavirus just today, which is still above that 21-day average. Meanwhile, the state also reporting 47 new deaths, more than double the 21-day average.
Now to a big decision on the future of high school sports in Ohio. The State High School Athletic Association said today schools can resume practice tomorrow. But as Andrew Horansky explains, not everyone wants to risk that, and that could cause problems.
Mike Bigelow is a rising junior in Brecksville Broadview Heights and cannot wait to take on North Royalton.
There's just something so fun about playing against them every year, and it's just so heated. And it's just, there's something about high school sports that, club doesn't compare to.
But he may not get that chance. Today, the Ohio High School Athletic Association reaffirmed that practice can resume this weekend. While several boards of health have been clear, it should not. Cuyahoga County saying to suspend all sports until further notice. Portage and Summit County saying until October 1st at the soonest.
To be quite honest, the sports thing is when kids started playing sports again and youngsters were together, we started to see outbreaks. And they weren't even really involved in any inter-school play.
Today, Mayfield City Schools postponed its fall season. Same with Garfield Heights. And as for North Royalton, the team Bigelow wanted to play, athletes were told today, not now.
I think to myself, am I wasting my time putting all these hours into football and not even having a season?
I have goals of playing soccer in college. So obviously junior year is a crucial year for recruitment.
While crucial lessons may not be lost, Ben Stahura is the athletic director for West Geauga.
Athletics is about character development. It's about giving these student athletes the tools to be successful in life and to deal with adversity in their life. And this is real time, real world. You have to be flexible, you have to adapt, and you have to make the best of it.
A lesson that applies on and off the field. Governor DeWine has been somewhat non-committal on the subject. His office certainly could be offering guidance. They have yet to. Meantime, here in Westlake tonight, some sports have been delayed. Others are continuing as normal. Russ, administrators saying they're taking it on a week-by-week basis.
Okay, Andrew Horansky, thank you. After tonight, that $600 a week federal unemployment bonus is no more. It expires today, and there is still no agreement in Congress to extend it. The debate continues in Washington. One side saying the payments are too big, the others calling the bonus a lifeline for millions unemployed during the pandemic. House Speaker Pelosi, Treasury Secretary Mnuchin, and others are set to meet tomorrow morning to work on a deal. The Senate has recessed for the weekend, so at the earliest, a vote could come next week. Dr. Anthony Fauci said today he is cautiously optimistic a coronavirus vaccine could prove effective by late fall or early winter. Testifying before a House subcommittee, Fauci also shot down a study touted by President Trump that appears to show hydroxychloroquine as an effective COVID-19 treatment. Fauci calling it flawed.
We've said it before. Coronavirus doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care where you live. It doesn't care about your background or how old you are. Tonight, a Mayfield Heights high schooler is a victim of this horrible virus. He's in the hospital on a ventilator right now. I spoke to his father about the last 2 weeks, how his son is doing tonight, and what's next. This is Nick Zanella, a 17-year-old with a heart of gold and a passion for fishing. He just bought a new rod a few days ago, but he never got to use it because of a nasty virus, COVID-19.
2 weeks ago today, he came down with fever and some aches and pains.
Minor symptoms, but then everything changed, and quickly.
But I say in a matter of 6 hours, he went from talking, texting, drinking, sitting up in the bed, talking to me,
To being hooked up on a ventilator in the Cleveland Clinic ICU. He's been on the machine for a week now. The family can FaceTime twice a day. Every day is different.
It was very difficult because he was clearly scared, didn't want us to go, and we said we had to say goodbye, and he was in tears.
But today, progress. Doctors are starting to lessen his sedation.
He actually held his hands up and he made a heart with his fingers. So that was incredible to see, even though we can't be with him.
And there is a community wishing they too could be by his side, from the Mayfield Heights School District to people around the world.
There's thousands of people around the world in 7 countries now that have prayer chains going.
Nick has survived a brain tumor and chronic health issues, and he wants to give back, studying to become a nurse. And Frank says it's the nurses and doctors who are taking the place of Nick's family in the hospital, while his family waits at home, sending him virtual hugs, letting him know it's okay, buddy. There are plenty of fish to catch with your new rod when you beat this soon.
We're hopeful that we'll get back to what life is about, and there's a lot of summer left and a lot of warm weather. I keep telling him he'll have time to fish.
He will have time to fish. On another note about Nick, he's been making masks for the last few months, working 6 to 8 hours a day, and then donating some of the money he's making from the masks to the MAC Foundation in Mayfield Heights. Of course, we wish him a speedy recovery.
This is a moment in history. I mean, it was really historic what she did. And just like the first heart transplant only survived 6 days, she was the longest living face transplant in the world.
Last night, we reported on Connie Culp, the first person in the United States to receive a face transplant, who died at the age of 57. She arrived at the Cleveland Clinic more than a decade ago in the hope they could repair damage from a shotgun blast to her face. Our senior health correspondent, Monica Robbins, covered her from the beginning, and tonight she has more about Connie Culp and the gift she left behind.
Connie Culp's journey began with tragedy. In 2004, her husband shot her in the face in a failed murder-suicide. He went to jail for 7 years. Connie embarked on a medical odyssey that would make history. First, she endured 30 operations attempting to fix the shotgun blast damage that shattered her nose, cheeks, roof of her mouth, and eye. In December 2008, a team of Cleveland Clinic doctors began a 22-hour procedure that would replace 80% of her face with that of a deceased donor. At the time, a medical miracle, and her team will never forget her.
She really was the kindest, biggest heart person I've really ever met.
Dr. Pepe says while the transplant could never return Connie's original looks, her beauty went far deeper than skin.
Internally, she was just as beautiful and very giving and very forgiving, despite all that had happened to her.
Connie spent the next decade of her life sharing her story, speaking out about domestic violence, and educating and encouraging others who would undergo transplant surgery. Lead surgeon Dr. Maria Semenow is now a professor at the University of Illinois, Chicago. She's still consulting with the Cleveland Clinic team and still performing surgeries.
Thinking about Connie was like thinking about someone who is not giving up. And I was never giving up.
Connie helped inspire her research into reducing rejection.
Where we are connecting the donor and recipient bone marrow cells to support face transplantation and other organ transplant in order to induce tolerance and reduce the need for lifelong immunosuppression.
There have been about 40 other face transplants around the world. Cleveland Clinic has done 3.
She was a pioneer, without a doubt, and we are just honored and humbled to really witness that.
We'll never forget that because she gave her life into science.
The exact cause of death has not been released, but Connie had been in the hospital several days. It's possible the years of immunosuppression drugs had weakened her body, which is a risk among transplant patients. To date, she had been the longest living face transplant survivor, but she left the world so much more.
A gift to all humanity, not just Ohio or the Cleveland Clinic, but really everywhere.
Monica Robbins, 3 News.
And coming up tonight, Florida's East Coast bracing for impact. What we know about Hurricane Isaias.
Plus, pandemic performances. How a local schools band is dealing with playing music while following COVID safety guidelines. And I want to wish Matt Wintz a happy Friday. Oh, it's so quiet in your house.
Oh, it's just wonderful right now, Laura. I'll tell you what, it's going to be quiet to start your Saturday as well. But then it might get loud around here. We're going to have some decent rainfall across the area this weekend, and the latest drought monitor says that we need it. We're anywhere from 2 to 3 inches below average across Ohio. When do we get it, and when does it clear out? I've got the details next.
What's Next is sponsored by Window Nation, online at windownation.com.
Let's get you into the loop. Here are some of the national stories we're watching. Another coronavirus vaccine candidate has been selected to be part of the U.S. government's Operation Warp Speed. Sanofi and GlaxoSmithKline will receive up to $2 billion to develop and deliver 100 million doses. Under the agreement, the U.S. government can acquire 500 million additional doses. Sanofi officials say they expect a phase 1 trial to start in September.
They just signed an executive order to declare a state of emergency in every coastal county of Florida's East Coast.
The state of Florida now watching for Hurricane Isaias. The storm is now projected to skirt the entire length of the state's east coast. This is the second named Atlantic hurricane this season. It could hit the North Carolina coast and then the mid-Atlantic states early next week. A mandatory evacuation is already ordered for part of North Carolina's Outer Banks. President Trump is coming to Cleveland. Multiple sources confirmed to 3 News' Mark Namick the president will be here on August 6th for a campaign fundraiser. 2 members of the Shorby Club say the U.S. Secret Service and others were there scouting earlier this week. Now, you're in the loop.
High school bands across Ohio are still hoping to perform under those Friday night lights in front of live crowds this year. Photojournalist Kelly Matter shows us the band at West Geauga High is stepping up with new rules to keep students safe.
It's challenging. It's very, very challenging. Usually we have everybody at like a 2-step spacing where they're a few feet apart, front to back, left to right, but we have to space everybody out. Ready, go. But music rehearsal and drill design all change because kids can't be too close to each other. Awesome. Okay. Everything is spaced out, spread out, so we just take up a lot more space. Learning about visual distance between you and the people next to you. We have soccer cones on the field that we have measured out. If we're not able to have a live performance setting, we can always perform and stream. The crowd is actually where we get a lot of our energy from, and I'm hoping to not play for any cardboard cutouts of anybody in the stands. For the sake of making music together, it's something that it's best done live. It's very, very time-consuming and challenging, but it's so rewarding. Getting them all unified towards one vision has its own intrinsic reward. Social aspect of music making, I feel like it's healthy for the students in a social and mental aspect. I hope the seniors from last year and this year can look back at this time and think about the positives that existed in a time of turmoil.
Hope the band in West Geauga and other high schools as well get to show their talents this year one way or another. It is now 11:17. Matt Wentz in for Betsy tonight out at Wentz Wonderland. Talking rain, right?
Yeah, Russ, we're talking rain. Boy, do we need it. It's been dry, not just across, much of the greater Cleveland area, but the whole state of Ohio and much of the Ohio Valley. And we're going to get it. I know the weekend isn't the best time for it, but you know what? I don't think a lot of us will be complaining this time of year just because we have gone so dry. So let's start with the big picture. The weekend weather looks like this. We have rain in the forecast, not just tomorrow, but Sunday as well. I don't see any huge blocks of rain where we'll have hours on end of just heavy downpours. It's going to be more scattered where you're going to have some downpours 1 hour, then you'll dry out for a few hours. But they are going to be pretty common across the area this weekend. Temperatures tonight, though, look at the refreshing air. We've got a couple more hours of this. We're down to 64 Chardon, ditto that Jefferson and Ashtabula. It's cool off towards the west as well. And Norwalk checking in at 67. They're not going to drop a whole lot more. Reason why, we have some humidity in the atmosphere. The temperature can never drop below this number, which is the dew point. So it's still a little bit humid, but boy, this has been such a refreshing air mass compared to where we were about a week ago. That drier air is going to be short-lived, though. You can see that moisture already making it into Ohio. Areas near Cincinnati, Covington, back towards Indianapolis, already seeing some rain. This is all courtesy of the low pressure that's going to head right through northeast Ohio over the next 2 days. And it's got a lot of moisture up above in the atmosphere. We can measure how much moisture, if we were to wring it out in a column of air, is going to fall. And we're talking precipitable water valleys. That's what we call it. Anywhere from 2 to 3 inches of rain that will be sitting up above us. You just need something to tap into that. So bottom line, we can get some pretty heavy downpours at times, especially Saturday night into Sunday. So let's time out the rain. Your National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast. Tomorrow morning, no problems. If you've got to run, walk, you got to go to the grocery store, whatever it is, you can get out of the way. You'll be dry. We're going to see those clouds thickening up, though, from the south. Watch what happens. By midday and early afternoon, we start to get some pops on the radar as that moisture overcomes that dry air. And then by afternoon, we're dealing with scattered showers. A couple thunderstorms in the mix as well. The instability not too high at first, but all the models starting to converge on the idea we get some heavier rain tomorrow late in the evening on through the overnight. So we'll see if that holds true. Sunday, the backside of the low pressure comes through. Pretty much the same song and dance. We've got heavier downpours from time to time. And I'll tell you what, it is going to feel tropical out there tomorrow night and Sunday morning as this brings a slug of humidity with it. Eventually, things start to clear out by Sunday night, and that will lead to a fairly dry Monday. So how much rain are we talking? Again, don't look at the exact number on your location. Look at the trend, and you can see we're talking anywhere from a ½ inch to perhaps 2 inches of rain. And that yellow number down at the bottom, that's your deficit. In Akron, about 3 inches below average. 4 in Mansfield, that is for the summer. So that's since June 1st. Cleveland happens to have a surplus because there was a thunderstorm right over the rain gauge there a couple weeks ago. All right, quickly, the latest on Hurricane Isaias. I'm not even going to say it. Hurricane I, you can see it's got a pretty tight circulation there heading towards the Bahamas. This, as Laura mentioned earlier, is going to head off the coast of Florida by all indications. It'll head into the northeastern United States. And after that goes by, here's how it impacts our weather. It's going to drag a cold front in here. And look at our muggy meter. We get a fall-like air mass in here behind that system Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Your Universal Windows Direct 10-day forecast showing the temperatures as a result. After the weekend rain, we'll get a little bit more rain on Tuesday, and then we're down to the 70s. With some wind, it's going to be really refreshing around here midweek, and some of those overnight lows in the 50s, Russ. So I hope you didn't wash the car today, Russ, because Mother Nature going to do that for you this weekend.
Now you tell me, Matt. All right. Thanks a lot. See you later. Up next in sports, the Indians in Minnesota tonight. The real drama came before the game. Nick will tell you about it when we come back.
This sports report is sponsored by the people-pleasing people at Serra Auto Park in Akron.
Great to welcome you back here to the Camino Cave here at WKYC Studios. Well, for right now, the world of sports is staying busy. Keywords there: for right now. I mean, this could always change. This is very fluid. In fact, there was a chance tonight's Indians game was going to get postponed. I'll have more on that in a minute. Ultimately, they decided to play game 2 of a 4-game weekend series. Tribe and Twins at Target Field. 2 best clubs in the AL Central Division. Not the best start for Mike Clevenger, though. Twins up 1-0 already in the first inning, and they add on Eddie Rosario driving a high fastball for a 2-run double. That put Minnesota up 3-0. Second inning, not much better for Clevenger. Alex Avila, come on now, raise your hand if you knew he played for the Twins. I had no idea. Apparently he does, and now we all know he does because he hit a home run here. That made it 4-0. The Indians just could not get it going offensively. We'll give Randy Dobnak, the Twins starter, a little bit of credit. Tribe losing to the Twins 4-1, so that Tribe starting rotation is human after all. Tomorrow, it'll be game 3 of this 4-game set. I know it's early, but all of these games against the Twins are important. They're only playing 60 games. Carlos Carrasco gets the ball for the Tribe. That's a 7-10 first pitch. So there was a chance that tonight's Tribe-Twins game almost got postponed. They would have played it tomorrow or Sunday. This is a very fluid situation with Major League Baseball right now. This is something we're just going to have to get used to. We know the situation with the Marlins. Their situation keeps getting worse. They're up to 20 positive cases of COVID-19. But now you can add the St. Louis Cardinals to that list. The Cardinals had their game tonight postponed against the Milwaukee Brewers after 2 positive tests. Well, the Cardinals just played the Twins in Minnesota. Who's in that visiting clubhouse right now? The Indians. So there was talks about postponing the game, but Tribe President Chris Antonetti said they went through all the protocols and they felt good about playing tonight.
I'd like to profoundly thank the Minnesota Twins for how they've handled everything. After the Cardinals left here, the clubhouse was fully cleaned. Again, it was fully cleaned before our arrival on day 1. And then again, this morning, there was a deep clean done before we arrived at the ballpark today. Additionally, the Twins have been extraordinary in helping us work through those logistics.
Russ, I just don't know. And tonight, Commissioner Rob Manfred sent a message to the MLB Players Association saying, I'm going to shut down the season if we don't start managing this better. So it's pretty serious right now with Major League Baseball.
Wow, a pivotal weekend for sure. All right, Nick, thanks a lot. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
There is more straight ahead. Stay with us.
All right, Rush, it's finally Friday. I thought Tuesday was Friday, so I'm happy we're finally here.
I did as well. Yes, it is Friday, and in 10 seconds, we are out of here, Ms. Queso. You have a great weekend.
You too.
3 News Go begins at 5 a.m. Good night.
Thank you for watching the Emmy Award-winning What's Next?